Okay, Felicia, you getting ready to pop that bottle?
Yes.
Woo-hoo!
Oh my goodness.
All right. Let's bring it.
Looks really good too.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be delicious, actually.
I hope so. It's early in the day, so.
Is it early?
I think. Well.
It's 5 o'clock
It
somewhere,
is.
right?
It is. It is. And this is perfect because it's nice and light. It's not too heavy.
Okay.
Okay. Like slip and fall.
Okay, so we have the food in the oven. Everything smells so fabulous.
Yes,
and thank you for the drink. You want to do a toast?
Oh yeah. Friendship and a new beginning for you.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Ding. Oh, that's good. Okay, I'm gonna save mine for my food. Okay, but I wanted to talk to you because we haven't chatted in a minute.
We haven't.
Yeah, I think we need to catch up a little bit.
We do.
So you mentioned something we were cooking earlier. I want to ask you, what is it like traveling, especially being a Black woman, with no one? Like you're traveling alone. Like what does that feel like? How do you maneuver through everything?
Yeah, it's pretty empowering to say the least.
Okay.
I go to a lot of places where I feel like they haven't seen any Black people, especially any Black women, and I'm traveling alone.
Right.
So it's kind of nice to be like the only one in that space.
Okay.
And it kind of gives me like ownership to, where I want to go, what I want to do.
Okay.
Not really care about what other people think.
Right.
Maybe I shouldn't be traveling. Maybe I shouldn't be traveling alone. So I love it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now tell me some of the places you've been. I know you've been to Greece.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite trips.
Okay. And you went to Morocco, didn't you?
I went to Morocco.
Oh, my
I went with a
goodness.
friend.
Okay.
But I really love traveling by myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. It's so much fun. You meet so many new people. You meet a lot of cool people.
Okay.
I think people are more. You're easier to be approached.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about your friend with the grimace look, and maybe someone doesn't want to approach you.
Right.
So it's kind of nice. People are so far super friendly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Very friendly.
Good.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized about you? I really don't know how you got into the beauty industry.
Oh,
like we talked about meeting for the first time in the runway show, and you doing my makeup, but how did you get into the industry?
Yeah, well, a crazy story. There was this little department store in downtown Detroit.
Okay.
In the early 2000s.
Okay.
So I started working there. Honestly, doing whatever. I kind of fell into doing makeup.
Okay.
And I fell in love with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it kind of was a happenstance. It wasn't planned.
It was not planned. It wasn't something I went after. It wasn't something, I've always wanted to do. I just kind of fell into it.
Yeah, liked it. Well, I'm the opposite.
Yeah,
I had the goal to be a model since I was like this high.
I know.
Well, I had an older cousin that modeled in New York.
Okay.
And I wanted to be just like her, right? So my mom's trying to put me into like piano lessons, all that stuff. I'm like, no, Mom. Modeling, runway, come with it, So finally I wore her down, and she let me do a fashion show, like a local store in the area that we lived in.
Okay.
And I was hooked. I'm like, this is it. This is all I thought it would be. Like it was absolutely amazing. And then I just did show after show after show, and then 25 years later, I look back and was like, dang, I did that.
It must be nice to actually do something that you say, that you always wanted to do.
That was my passion, yeah. So what's funny is I actually started cooking at 6 and baking at 8. My mom's a cook and my dad's a chef. So the whole time people are like, write a cookbook, open a restaurant. I'm like, no. I'm busy on the runway right now. I'm not trying to hear that. And I loved it. I've been 5'9" since I was 12 years old.
Oh my God.
So runway was my thing, right? And I loved it. But once I quote unquote retired from modeling and kind of sat still for a minute, that's when I heard the call to cook, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I got into cooking.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So what other things have you been doing? I know you've been like all over the place. You're always like, every time I call you, you're like, oh my God, I just came from so and so. I just did this.
I know.
Did this virtual cooking class. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, well, when are we gonna get to hang out?
I know, right?
Yes.
And we're always passing each other. I feel like you're on your way out of town. I'm coming back in town. So again, it's great to catch up with you. But I love to travel just as much as you do. I think that's one of the things that we have in common. For me, I actually started my company in the beginning of 2012. And I started doing virtual cooking classes then.
Which was new. I didn't know.
It was unheard of,
What are you
girl.
doing? Yeah.
So people are like, what do you do? I'm like, well, one of the services I offer is virtual cooking. They're like, what's that? So I described it as Skype meets food TV.
Yes,
and then people were like, oh, okay, I can kind of see that. That sounds like a cool concept. And then, what was it, 8 years later, COVID hit.
Yeah, especially now. It's nice being, kind of like ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, not scrambling. I did not have to scramble, girl. I mean, it would just flow naturally. I was already working from home by then, and I just started like amping up on the virtual cooking because I did virtual, I did hands-on, I traveled, all kinds of stuff. But once COVID hit, everything became virtual. That was 100% of the game for me. And it was just easy to flow into that. And I'm so busy, it's ridiculous. So busy, which is awesome though, right?
It changed everything.
Yeah, keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah.
Keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah.
But when you look back over the years in which we've been in the industry, lots have changed, right? A lot has changed.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed. Yeah, I've seen a lot of things change. Talking to you earlier, I've noticed even in the past few years that, there's so many different makeup lines. Especially for women of color, the lines that are out now, they've expanded their color range. Right. So, you don't have to feel...
we don't feel left out anymore.
Left out, yeah. You don't have to feel left out. So, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've noticed. Even working in the makeup industry, I worked for a cosmetic line, and I couldn't even wear the makeup that I sold.
Yeah, see.
Because even for my complexion, it was not even dark enough. So,
so not cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so not cool.
Yes, yeah.
All right.
So it's really, with lines like the Fenty line.
Yes.
From Rihanna.
Yes.
It's even lines like Kim K.
Yes.
And there's just so many other lines that are, getting on board.
So two that I really like. I love Mented. Love Mented. Yeah. Because I like the green, organic, that type of line also. And then what's the other one? The lip bar.
Yeah.
I love the lip bar also. Yeah, so we have options now, darling.
Yeah. And even with hair care too.
Oh my gosh,
you don't have to go to, an existing line to see the products that they've extended, which is great. You have a lot of new brands coming up. You have the Pattern, which I love, from Tracy Ellis Ross, which is like my favorite. Yeah. There's TGIF, which is good. There's Target has some really great brands.
Target is on the game when it comes to hair care.
Gabrielle Union has a really great line.
Yeah.
So so there's a lot, and it's really good to see like Black women. Yes. In a space where we should be. It's great to see other like bigger like beauty conglomerates come out with stuff for curly hair or textured hair.
Right.
And it's kind of almost like an afterthought when someone comes out with something that it's
intentionally for us.
It's been for you from the start.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm all about it.
Yeah, me too. So I wonder what things have been like back then, like if we had all of these options when we were like serious and deep in the modeling game or in the fashion industry.
Yeah, that's something to think about.
It would have been a huge difference.
It would have made a big, and I think even just in your identity of how you see yourself, the norm was, buy a relaxer, put it in your hair, try to get it as straight as you can so you can conform. And now, you have states looking at laws to, to allow women of color to wear their hair, and not let it be
any way they want.
Right, which is
go to work.
I think it's crazy
everywhere. Isn't that crazy?
We have to make it a law. It's hair. It's just hair.
Exactly.
My hair grows out of my scalp like this. Your hair grows out, bone straight or different, and it's
And it's fine.
It's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's funny is, I remember back in the day, I actually had to bring my own makeup. So if I wasn't working with you and you hooking me up, I had to bring my own makeup while everybody's sitting there in a chair getting their makeup done. Yeah. And I'm over in the corner with a mirror propped up trying to do my own makeup because they don't have the makeup color to match my skin tone.
Yeah, I've read a lot of stories of a lot of black models having to do their own makeup because, you know, the makeup artist didn't have makeup that matched their skin. Yeah. So we've come a long way. Yeah, you know, buying the 3 or 4 makeup colors.
Oh my gosh!
No, you didn't. Mix it up.
Yeah, you're trying to mix it up and create something.
Yeah, and then you're like,
darn it! Mad scientist.
Yes, and you go do it again. You're like, oh my god, what was the ratio?
I know, right?
What did I do? 2 drops of that, 2 pumps of that, and you're just like, and now you can just go buy. You know, buy one bottle. Yeah, yeah.
I literally can do a whole face that looks kind of good, in my opinion, in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's come down to.
Yeah, so we have came a long way.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
I know one thing.
What?
We're finna go to the kitchen and eat some of this food.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
All right, let's get to it.